The game is back, which is awesome. It was on CBS this weekend down in Colonial, and we're joined by lead analyst for CBS Golf, three-time Masters champ, three-time Open winner, 6 majors, could easily have a couple more too, finished twice, finished second a few times, Sir Nick Faldo, part of the World Golf Hall of Fame as well. Nick, Tiki and Tierney, welcome back, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing, guys? Good to talk to you again. How you been?
We've been very good. We've been good, and we were impressed because let's face it, Nick, we know it's not easy to sit in a studio as you did this past weekend while Jim was alone in the tower by himself, and to have chemistry and to have a feel of the course. I mean, you guys pulled it off. We're not surprised, but you made it look a little easier than it probably was. What was it like, man?
Well, yeah, technically it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was very clever. I mean, it literally had all sorts of, from Connecticut to Burbank, even, that shot tray for the line you saw, that came from New Zealand. I mean, how about that? That's pretty cool. That's the next day. That's the next day, breakfast the next day. And they are sitting there on their computer making their shot tray to work. So no idea how that happens. But yeah, wow. I thought we did a good job. Hey, we always learn a bit more each time, and it was a shame for Jim and his tower on his own, because normally he's got invited guests of about 22 in his TV tower each week. So he must have been feeling very lonesome, and so it went. I thought it was good. I think he made you concentrate on the golfers. I mean, that's what I felt. You really did stare at the golfers and see if we could, give some insight into every little thing we could see them doing, thinking, hitting, whatever. So, and then suddenly you look, okay, when the camera is tight on the player, you don't normally see the crowd, the gallery. Sure, the guys all said the atmosphere was weird, but so they're so young now. It's not so far on from their amateur days playing college golf with nobody around, and many said that, hey, whether you're trying to win against one person or say 10,000 pulling against you, it's kind of the same thing, or pulling for you, it's kind of the same thing. Winning is winning. You got to find a way. So I think bottom line, we did all right first week, and obviously we're going to be doing this for a few more.
Yeah, no, it definitely, it sounded good, but I wonder from your perspective, did you feel like you were missing out on something, like the atmosphere or the wind conditions, or one of the great things that you and other analysts give is this perspective. When I was at this particular spot, like you missed that a little bit.
Well, not too bad, because obviously we had Doty and the market went down on the golf course, so they can talk about wind direction. Yeah, sure, it's nice to feel the atmosphere. When you're there at a tournament, you sit in the tower, or you tour the golf. I tour the golf course, do my homework before, so I really do kind of know. Certain holes are tricky because of the wind directions, yes, or the hole locations. So, we're going to miss a little bit on that. But we all know the golf course is so well. Hilton Head coming up this week. I played it a bunch. I've been up in the TV tower for, 15 years now, so we've seen it through the camera lens a lot. So we know how to help the viewer get a better view, better understanding what they see. So, I'm sure we lose a little bit, but maybe we gain a little bit. I thought I was sitting there, I was always leaning forward trying to watch their faces and every little part of their golf swing, so I was pretty engrossed with it for each day.
So were we.
Yep.
So, Nick, let's get to what's, I don't know if it's a big story, but it's certainly an interesting story, and I think it's a growing story. I know you've weighed in on this in the past with the just how the course is just, they just can't hold these guys. They're too long. It is what it is. It's really become grip it, rip it, grab a wedge, grab your putter, get down a 3, move on to the next hole if it's a par 4. It's a radically different game. A game that was built on precision is no longer like that. And Colin Montgomery talked about basically using flighted balls. You had a thought about, I think, getting rid of tees. Clearly you've thought about this. What happens over the next 10 years? Does something change?
Maybe. Yes, maybe. I mean, the problem is we have great golf courses. You had last week. It's a 7,000. Its longest Colonial 7.2. We actually played it at 6.9 one day. So for these guys on that particular day, Bryson hit on all the par fours. His second shot average was 116 yards, just 116. The only hole that played long for him was the fifth hole, where he hits his 4-iron off the tee and then has a 5-iron into the green or something else. 4-iron, 6-iron. So, they cut the corners now. You've got these beautiful design holes, these beautiful bunkers out there at anything up to 290, even 300, and they just go over them. The ball is still going up while it's going past these beautiful bunkers at 290. So this is it's a problem where lovely old school golf courses are cut down to that kind of size. I mean, and it's a mixture of things. It's a mixture of the golf ball, the technology and the driving, the head, the face, the shaft. We have launch monitors, so you fine tune it down to you get your absolute exact optimum numbers, for launch and spin and everything. And now you go to the physical side. Everybody, Tiger came on board and brought some new stuff to the physical world. And I'm not sure who's next, but, Rory, Jason Day at the time did other stuff. And then we went to the Dustin throwing around Olympic weights, whatever they called it. Then you went to Brooks. Yep. And then we've gone to Bryson. And so Bryson's taken a whole new approach. Again, he's gone for absolute, pure, sheer strength to hit a golf ball. And so you can't take that away from him just because he's suddenly, now he can hit he's trying for 200 miles an hour. He's got his gamer, his game shot will go 330 yards through the air. That's just his fairway finder gamer, okay?
God.
I was with him 10 days ago. Watched him, talked to him all about this. So he's done it physically, absolutely. This is the science of any sport. We understand now how to build a golfer so he's physically strong enough to belt a golf ball and still give him range of motion, flexibility, and still have touch for your short game. There's no point in being, bulked up and you can't putt. So he believes he's been able to apply all of that. And so, hey, it's a whole new, this is the new, let's call it, the new 2020 approach to playing the game of golf. So he will cut courses absolutely down to size. I mean, this Hilton Head this week is really no good for him because you don't have to hit driver around that particular course at all. He's only, possibly you hit a driver on 5, maybe gets a bit. When we played it in spring, it was a bit windy on a couple of holes. You might hit a driver up the 3rd. Mm-hmm. Bottom line is they may only need to hit driver up the 15th to get far enough down to reach the green in 2. So get over the trees for the 2nd.
Yeah.
Apart from that, they don't need a driver this week. So it's not a good example. But when he plays a wet golf course, that's 7,800 yards long and it's wet, boy, is he going to... Well, I wouldn't say he's got a total advantage, but, Rory, a lot of those guys can get it 310 through the air comfortably, 320 when they go for it, and then... but he has found a way to get 330 through the air.
Nick, is that sustainable? We saw Tiger, start to sustain some injuries when he got bigger, and he said it was running, but I think it was also the lifting that he was doing. How sustainable is that? I mean, he looks great, but...
all I can go on is the knowledge that they now have. We've moved on another 5 years in understanding. It's a new, they call it the MAT system. So they learn to switch. This is layman's. Remember, I'm a golfer and I left school at 16, okay?
Worked out for you, Nick.
Yeah, in the old days, they learned how to switch a muscle on. We did this applied kinesiology, right? I did this in 1990. I possibly brought this to the tour with an Australian guy by the day, named Dale Richardson. And so you could switch a muscle on. Now they've learned, with science, here we are 30 years, you can switch a muscle on and then you can switch it off. And then you switch it on, and you actually then strengthen it by doing this switching on. And then when they finally get back to switching it on, it won't go off. Get you? You do these stress tests. You lift your leg up, they push your leg down, say it goes down, so you're weak. They go into your belly, they find your trigger points, they rub you in a few spots, and then your legs ridiculously strong. So how does that happen? Then they make it go weak again. They say, you do another stress test, you go weak. So I did it. I did it at home here a couple of weeks ago as kind of an experiment, just to try and get me to learn. So bottom line, the science, they know so much more about our muscle structure and how to do it. So, hey, everybody, I think he's gone past what you would deem as, bulking up, and he's going to be like a linebacker, can't lift his arms up.
No, he looks like a linebacker, honestly, Nick, when you stare at him. I'd be scared if he was on the other side of the ball from me.